Alright, so this video is a part 2 to a video series I'm making, which is all about how to play Shaco. I really hope this helps you guys learn how to play this character, helps you guys learn how to play the jungle properly, and it helps you get out of the lower elos. So we start off with 9 greater mark of attack damage ruins. The 8.5 increased attack damage is really important for Shaco early game, as he's actually an extremely weak jungle. He's super squishy and it's very hard for him to clear his jungle, so having that extra additional damage really helps him clear it quicker. And then it also helps with your ganks. When you're jumping behind someone, using your deceive to gank the lane and you're getting behind someone, your initial attack, even if you're doing an extra only like 10 damage, that 10 damage when someone only has 400 health is huge. 500 health, 600 health, whatever it is. If you attack them 4 times, now you've done an additional 30 damage. And maybe it's that 30 damage that would have killed them. We've all had that fucking gank or fight where the enemy jungler or the enemy player walks away with only 10 HP. So if you have that additional damage, it wouldn't happen, right? And then we move on to Attack Speed Seals, and the reason we get Attack Speed Seals is, once again, it helps us clear our jungle. If I can attack a minion over 3 seconds 2 times, rather than over 3 seconds still only attacking it once, I'll be able to clear the jungle quite a bit faster. Also, late game, mid game, it really helps. The additional attack speed really helps when you are dependent on hitting critical strikes to confirm kills. That's how I build him. Lots of people build Shaco as a bruiser. I like to build him as a pure damage assassin, so attack speed is a huge and extremely critical part of my build. If I don't have attack speed and I'm not getting those crits off, well, I'm useless. I'm just going to get destroyed. And then we move on to our glyphs, which are cooldown reduction glyphs. Maxing out our cooldown reduction glyphs gives us a 7.5% cooldown reduction, and that cooldown reduction is probably the most important thing on Shaco, as it helps me in my early jungle get through blue buff without taking any damage. And the way that I play is that I'll do my blue buff, I'll jump over the wall, and I'll go directly to their red buff. And what it also helps during that invade is that rather than my Q still being on a 4-second cooldown, my Q by the time I get to their red is on a 2-second cooldown. So if I want to wait 2 seconds, I can jump over the wall and get an easy deceive on an enemy jungler or a quick hit on the red. Also, when I'm doing my blue camp, if you don't have this extra 12.5 cooldown when you're in game, you can only put down 4 boxes. I can put down 5 boxes before blue buff spawns. I can put down a box every 14 seconds, and I can put one down at 155, so that first off blue buff gets feared twice rather than once, so now he's doing even less damage to me and my boxes, and the additional box obviously helps get blue down extremely fast. And then last we get movement speed quints. I have 4.5 extra movement speed, and this is a big thing on Shaco because he needs to be able to move between camps quicker than the other jungles, and that reason is that he's such a slow jungle. Shaco's extremely slow at jungling unless you get a Trailblazer. For this, he's weak. He's squishy and he's weak, right? So you get that extra 4.5% movement speed to get between jungles. Also, it helps when you deceive. When I use my Q to gank a lane, I can move an extra 3 or 4 steps because I have that additional move speed before my Q runs off its timer. So it makes ganking more effective, it makes jungling more effective, and that's the reason I get what I have. Now we move down to the Masteries, and on the Mastery tree I run down the full length of the melee leg of the offensive tree. The 5% additional attack speed, 10 additional damage at level 18, 4 extra damage rate at the start of the game. Increases your bonus attack damage by 5%. So what that means is, even though I have a base of 50 attack damage, if that extra 10 damage I have beginning game, I'll also have an additional 5% of that, which 0.05 of 5% of 10 is, I don't know, but it's an additional little bit of damage. And 6% armor and magic pen is huge on Shaco, as he is a hybrid champion. He does magic and he does melee damage. So having a little bit of magic penetration on both of those is huge. And obviously the additional 3% increased damage on your overall damage is absolutely massive. Once again, we get to cooldown reduction. This 5% cooldown reduction added to the 12.5 you get from your ruins makes you begin the game with 12.5 cooldown reduction, which is what we are aiming for our boxes and for our ganks. And then for jungle, I get these two. The reason I get these two for the jungle is that Butcher helps deal additional 2 damage to minions and monsters. So when you're in your jungle and you're doing 90 damage to a monster, now you're doing 92. And it doesn't seem like much, but in League of Legends, every 1 additional attack damage you have is huge. It helps you so much. And then obviously Feast is for sustain. Every time you kill someone, you get 3 health and 1 mana. It's huge for Shaco as he's so squishy. He gets to stay in the jungle for even one camp longer than he normally would. That's huge. And then Executioner is probably one of the most important things that I find that I need to get on Shaco for his ganks. If I can get a champion down below 50%, now I'm dealing additional 5% damage to him, that champion's going to be bursted down that much quicker. And I don't do anything in defense. Once again, as I play Shaco, I'm pure assassin. I have pretty well no armor. Usually armor is either my very last item or I don't get it at all. We go straight to the utility tree. Once again, movement speed for ganks, for your Q, and getting between jungles, jungle camps. And I always get a little bit of mana regen. It's not really necessary, although Shaco is a huge mana whore. Every time you use an E, you use pretty well a quarter of your mana. Every time you use a Q, you use probably about an eighth of your mana. Every time you use a box, you use about an eighth of your mana. Like, you run through your entire mana pool before level 8 in 2 jungles and 1 gank. 2 jungle camps and 1 gank. So having that little bit of mana regen helps you get maybe another jungle camp if you're lucky. But with that being said, this is the end part, the second video to my video series about how to play Shaco. I hope it helped. I know it's a little long-winded, but I just wanted to make sure you got the full effect of why I pick what I do. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or even like any suggestions for me on how to play Shaco or how to do these videos, comment and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Good luck and thanks for watching.